Good afternoon, Mr. PM. Thank you for joining us again on PC Insight Podcast to discuss the nature of realism in international relations.
Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to share my views.
Don't miss out on insightful discussions about world politics. Subscribe to my podcast and receive notifications for new episodes. Your support means a lot, and I appreciate you joining me on this journey of exploring the complex and fascinating world of politics. In our previous episode, you've mentioned that realists have a negative perspective on how the world operates, which can be explained by their 5 assumptions about the international system. First, the international system is anarchic, meaning that there is no higher authority governing the relations between states. Second, states possess offensive military capabilities that can potentially harm one another. Third, states can never be sure of other states' intentions, which may change rapidly. Fourth, states' primary objective is to maintain their sovereignty. Finally, states act rationally, though they may miscalculate due to imperfect information. Could you please elaborate on how these 5 assumptions impact state behavior?
Absolutely. Realism posits that in an anarchic international system, where states are the main actors, they will prioritize their own survival and security. This leads them to compete with one another, and the potential for conflict is always present. States will often pursue military strength and alliances as a way to secure their position and deter potential aggressors. Additionally, the lack of a central authority means that trust is in short supply, and states are cautious when it comes to dealing with one another. Finally, states must constantly analyze and assess the intentions of other states, which can lead to a lot of uncertainty and mistrust. In short, realism suggests that state behavior is largely driven by a need for security, a desire to maintain sovereignty, and a cautious approach to dealing with other states in the absence of a higher authority.
Our audience has expressed a desire for a more in-depth discussion on the effects of the 5 assumptions of realism on state behavior. Mr. PM, can you elaborate on this topic?
Certainly. The 5 assumptions of realism, when taken together, can create incentives for states to think and behave aggressively. This results in 3 main patterns of behavior. Firstly, states in the international system fear each other. They view each other with suspicion, anticipate danger, and there is little room for trust among them. The fear is based on the fact that any state bent on survival must be at least suspicious of other states and reluctant to trust them, as there is no central authority to turn to for help and no mechanism for punishing an aggressor. Secondly, each state aims to guarantee its own survival and cannot depend on others for security, as states operate in a self-help system. Thirdly, states aim to maximize their relative power positions over other states, leading to strong incentives to take advantage of one another, including going to war if victory seems likely. All states are influenced by this logic, leading to a world of constant security competition, with the possibility of war always in the background. The aforementioned reasoning exerts a universal influence on all states, leading them to actively seek opportunities to exploit each other while simultaneously taking measures to prevent others from exploiting them. Consequently, states adopt both offensive and defensive postures, contemplating the possibility of aggression as well as balancing against aggressors. The outcome of such a dynamic is a persistent state of security competition, where the potential for war is always present. As a result, achieving a state of peace defined as mutual concord and tranquility is unlikely in such a world. The best real-world example I can give of how these assumptions affect state behavior is the relationship between the United States and North Korea. North Korea has developed a nuclear weapons program, which is seen as a threat to the United States' national security. In response, the United States has imposed economic sanctions and diplomatic pressure on North Korea, while also maintaining a strong military presence in the region. Both states are acting in their own self-interest, with North Korea seeking to guarantee its survival through the acquisition of nuclear weapons, and the United States aiming to maintain its relative power position over North Korea and ensure its own security. This is an example of the offensive and defensive behavior that results from the realist assumptions outlined earlier.
Thank you for that detailed explanation. We appreciate your insights on realism in international relations.
It was my pleasure to discuss this topic with you and your listeners. Thank you for having me.